Testing.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to another episode of the Final Whistle, or the FW, here on the Bama Standard Network. Hit that like, subscribe button. Smash that like, subscribe button. Dominate that like, subscribe button. But most importantly, tell all your friends, family, coworkers, frenemies, whatever. Tell them to tune into the Final Whistle. We got an exciting show today. Here on the Final Whistle on the Bama Standard Network. And so, guys, let's get it popped off by me looking at the rest of the crew, the Avengers. Guys, we got in the middle our lead recruiting analyst, the one and only at Final Whistle, Dan. Dan, are you excited for the show tonight?
Always excited, brother, and always glad to be here, man. You know, here with my Crimson Avengers -1. You know, so let's get to it.
Let's get to it. And speaking about getting to it, this guy, that's all he knows how to do is get to it, dominate whatever topic he's on, whatever he does in life. He's just getting to it. The one and only Lucian Graves. How are you, sir?
Man, I am so excited to be here. We got an action-packed show. We're going to get deep tonight, y'all. Pause. Serious pause. Guys, I think I can speak for everybody when I am just excited to have Chris James back in the house, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a fun show tonight. Roll daggum tide.
It's going to be a great show because I know Chris had to get over his Celtics. You know, first Tatum getting hurt and, you know, losing the series to those Pacers.
My Knicks.
In Indianapolis, Halliburton doing his thing. And, you know, he had some things to do. You know, he was at a cooking tour all across the country, all 50 states. You know, he does it all. But I'm just glad to see my brother, Chris. We're glad to have you back.
All that, man. What's up, fellas? I'm happy to be here.
Man, we're glad to have you back. And Patty, can you hear us down there?
I'm good. What's up?
Okay, cool.
I'm talking. We got Senator Tuberville in the chat, and I'm just making sure he's taken care of.
Oh wow! You know Tuberville said he put in the bid to run for governor, and I think we need Charles Barkley to go against him. How could that be?
I bet Barkley can even name the 3 branches of the government.
Well, I'm hearing Bruce Pearl is supposed to be running for Senate.
For his Senate seat. Oh man, but let's get to it. The one and only, guys. Daniel Petty. Petty, how are you, sir?
I'm doing fabulous. Actually want to start off the show tonight with a question for my man Chris, since he's back. He's the man of the hour. His head's floating around there, wide awake. Chris, I was just on a show with a former acquaintance of yours. You good? Name Alonzo. You remember anybody? You remember anybody named Alonzo?
Ephraim.
He said that you and him took a trip together to Troy, Alabama, and you needed to tell me about it.
Hey, man, not on live television.
Why not?
That's for Final Whistle after
dark. We'll get Alonzo, Ephraim, and Chris James Troy story.
Hey, then we have to start a Patreon page for that. That way you can get that all exclusive, uncut, raw stuff here on the Final Whistle coming soon. So guys, you know, that's the Avengers, the Crimson Avengers. We are ready. We're excited. We got a lot of things to talk about. And we're going to just kind of surprise you guys. Get in the chat, everybody. And let's get it started. But first we get started, guys, let's talk about our main sponsor, Limestone Inc. If you want to get your yard work looking good with the finest stones across the land in the Southeast, go to limestoneinc.com. Patty, can you mention us and mention Real Rock Stone, how great they are?
Yeah, go a little further with it. Yeah, if you're building that dream home and you've ever seen those homes that have that beautiful natural stone and said, I want that on my house. Well, now's the time. Go to realrockstone.com. That is Lamstone Company's website. They're located in Aniana, Alabama. They're one of the oldest, most trusted sources in the state. And if you tell them we sent you using the promo code, the Bama Standard, you'll receive 10% off your stone purchase today. That's 10% off a purchase of stone for your home. All the stuff going up in the world, you might want to hop on that deal. But after the show, of course, realrockstone.com. That's Lamstone Company.
That's realrockstone.com at Lamstone Company. Get all of your stone work needs. So guys, we got a great show. We're going to talk about, I think it's less than 100 days till Alabama kicks off. College football kicks off in general. It's getting closer and closer. The SEC, Greg Sankey's kind of, making some noise, talking about college football, the playoffs. EA Sports dropped the cover of college football 26, I believe, 25, one of the two. And it has our very own Ryan Hollywood Williams on there. But guys, I'm just excited. We're getting closer and closer to football. So let's talk about Alabama's football room, mainly the QB. Let's get into our first topic, talking about the quarterback and one quarterback specifically, breaking down of Ty Simpson. Coach Saban had Nick's kids, his golf tournament last week. He spoke highly of the kid, Ty Simpson, just talking about his game, his mentality, praising him for his development. You've heard Kalen DeBoer not only highlight, Ty Simpson, but, other quarterbacks, Keelan Russell, Austin Mack, just overall is the QB room. Guys, so let's break down Ty Simpson. And I just want to get you all's thoughts initially about him, maybe what to expect this year. But then we got an in-depth topic we're really going to break down after this. But let's kind of do a round robin regarding just kind of the breakdown of Ty Simpson. And I'll start with our lead recruiting analyst at Dan James.
Okay, to me, Ty Simpson he's the type of quarterback that Jalen Milroe wanted everybody to believe he was. Jalen Milroe actually used to say all the time, I'm a passing quarterback that can run. And I think that actually describes Ty Simpson. Ty Simpson is a guy that can pretty much make all of the throws, but he's actually able to when the pocket collapses or plays break down, he's able to make plays with his feet. So he's going to bring a different dynamic, of course, to the Alabama offense. So we'll be able to see, a more expanded playbook, and he definitely not the dynamic, but who is, that Jalen Milroe was. Jalen Milroe was such a dynamic runner, he could control the game with the legs. You look at the Georgia game, but Ty Simpson's ability to, get the ball out on the perimeter, get the ball to the playmakers in space and things like that is going to bring a different dynamic. And him and Ryan Grubb is going to be a match made in heaven, when it all is said and done. So I expect him to have a big season, a big offensive season, so that's just my take on him personally.
Okay. All right. Let's go to Chris. Chris, I want to hear your thoughts. We've been waiting to hear from you, just give us your initial thoughts before we break it down, because we got a really good question. We're going to, backdoor, but just kind of give high level breakdown of Ty Simpson real quick for us before we give it to Patty.
Okay, well, the thing about Ty Simpson is he came in and actually waited his turn. Think about it, he came in as a 5-star quarterback, so talent was undeniable, right? So he's had time to sit on a Saban staff and on a DeBoer staff, and just learn different ways to different ways to skin a cat. I mean, both from right now, I believe with him is more mental than talent, right? Because you're in year 4 and you've gotten every type of rep. I mean, how he's probably the most prepared backup quarterback to step into a starting job than anybody could hope for. You get what I'm saying? I'm just excited about his upside because the thing about him is his legs are so underrated. That okay, Blitz Simpson if you want, and you see what happened. He made one defender miss and he's gone. He's out the gate. The kid can scoop, man. But the thing about it, I think our offense is about to evolve and open up more because he's a much better passer than Milroe. Especially as far as accuracy is concerned. I'm not saying arm strength because Milroe had a cannon, but as far as getting to your second read, getting to your third read, he's above par. He's better than where Milroe was. What's up, Ty?
What's going on?
Your wizard.
The band is back together, baby.
The band is back together.
But I'm excited, man. I really believe Ty Simpson has the making to end up getting all SEC accolades. I'm not saying first team. I'm not saying second team unwritten, but somewhere in there, he has the makings with what he has around him at receiver, what he has up front protecting him, and what he has at running back. All he has to do is he has the keys to a Ferrari. All he has to do is just crank it up and drive. So as long as he keeps it in a row between the lines, I think he's in for a big season. And with a big season from Ty Simpson, Bama is in the playoffs again, making a deep run.
I like it. Ty, welcome you in. We're glad to have you in. I know you got some new Cubans in this week, big time shipment, and I know you're seeing how great they are. Glad to have you in, sir. Mr. Around the Table Sports, Ty Hayes. How are you, Ty?
Hey, I'm just happy to be here. It's not hot as hell in Texas right now. It's like 75 degrees.
Wow.
Not humid. So I can sit out back, hang out with y'all, and smoke a cigar. So it's going to be a good evening.
So let's go to Petty real quick. Petty, just give a quick breakdown of Ty Simpson. Then we're going to give it to Lou. And then, Ty, we're going to kick you off with our next topic regarding Ty Simpson. I think you're going to enjoy it. Petty, what are your thoughts on Ty Simpson, or what have you heard, or just your thoughts?
Man, I go back to the Wisconsin game, and I know it was in late game mop-up duty, but that was the most efficient I think the Bama offense ran all year as far as going into the playbook and making it look like the way it was supposed to. And I think that was a glimpse. I do. And look, I don't think that was, well, why didn't he take we can debate that to the end of time and write a book on it, on the whole quarterback situation from last year. It is what it is. It's in the past. But we've seen enough from Ty. We've seen it with the legs. We've seen it with the passing. I do. I think he gives man, when you're a coach taking over a program, you take over what you got. You make the best of it. And sometimes you got to make parts that don't work, and the seasons get ugly. They are what they are. And that ain't to say that I know Milroe's a hot button topic with me and fans of our show or whatever. But I do think Milroe could have worked maybe in a different system. It wasn't the one for him. So this isn't a knock on him, what I'm about to say next, but I do think it fits Ty better. It is like what Dan said and Chris, y'all have all said it. He's a better passer. He's going to be able to fit this system that opens up to where everybody was wanting. Why didn't we, when we got here, the debate was how many 1,000-yard receivers do we have? How many 700-yard? Well, we didn't have it because we didn't spread the ball enough. It was because it didn't fit Milroe's assets to go to 4 deep into a progression, 3 deep into a progression. It was 1 progression, 2 progression run or whatever. So no, we're going to fully get to see the offense this year. And it's because of Ty's abilities. I think it's going to get to showcase Ty. And if he does, I expect Alabama's offense to be really dangerous. But Ty's also getting the benefit of a better receiving core. He's going to get the benefit of a more experienced offensive line after 1 year under the, Coach Cap. So it's, I'll be honest. I really expect, Ty's not the one getting talked about right now. You're hearing about Lagway. You're hearing about Arch. Of course, Nussmeier at LSU is going to be looks like he's going to be a first-round grade right now. There's quarterbacks all over the league. in a year where it was really down last year, and it was like, man, this is the worst quarterback class we've ever had. This may be one of the better crops of quarterback classes we've had in a while. And I won't be shocked at the end of the year to see Ty as one of the top 3 offensive performers in the SEC. So I expect a lot out of Ty, and I expect him to work in this offense. A lot of that, look, man, Grubb's offense is going to work this year.
Cool. Lou, round us out on this topic before we expand on this topic. Your breakdown of Ty Simpson. Maybe add something that nobody else has kind of talked about.
Okay. It's simple. Ty Simpson is a guy that has stood by his word and said that he's going to be the Mac Jones of today's type of football team. He's waited his time. He's put in the work, and now it's his time to shine. One of the things I think people are very, very not really understanding about Ty Simpson is that he is a dual threat quarterback. He is a true dual threat. He rushed for over 800 yards his senior year and 11 touchdowns. That's a true dual threat quarterback. So I see him succeeding greatly in this offense, especially going off the body of work that Ryan Grubb and Kalen DeBoer did with their last quarterback. I'd say Ty Simpson is a little bit more athletic, and he might even be able to distribute the ball a little bit better just because how he sees the field. I think Ty Simpson's going to succeed. I think he's going to wake a lot of people up to the SEC that Alabama just might have another first-round quarterback in the making.
I like it. And, Lou, I like how you kind of led us to our expanding more about Ty Simpson. And I want to expand in this question to you guys. What type of QB does Ty need to be? And I'm going to give you all 5 different options. So first you got to answer what type of quarterback he needs to be. And the B part of the question is what type of quarterback does he not need to be in order for Alabama to be successful? So you got gunslinger, pocket passer, dual threat, as Lushawn mentioned, game manager, or field general. All right. Gunslinger, pocket passer, dual threat, game manager, and field general. So I'll go first. So I think Ty needs to be a field general. Okay. I think he needs to know how to know where, not just manage the game, but like take control of the game, know when to be dominant, know when to get us in the right play. Talk to Grubb. Hey, Grubb, they're doing this. Find different mismatches. He needs to be a field general. What he doesn't need to be, I don't want him just to be a game manager. I think with Ryan Grubb, DeBoer, all these weapons, I don't want us to be kind of limited, but I want us to maximize each one of our weapons that we have in the receiver room, running back room, tight end room, all of that. And I feel like if he's more of a field general instead of a game manager, I think Alabama will be successful. Ty, what is your thoughts? What does Ty need to be? What does he need to be, and what does he not need to be?
So I agree with you in the first half, right? I think field general is what you're hoping for.
Okay.
But for me, what he doesn't need to be, I'd much rather him be a game manager than a gunslinger. And I'm going to tell you why.
Yeah, I like that.
Because when I go back and you watch Ty out of high school, he was really talented. But there was some stuff that you were like, hey, this has got to get cleaned up. It just does. Bailing out of a clean pocket, right? Looking panicked. And don't get me wrong, his offensive line was terrible, right? It almost reminded me of JT Daniels whenever he was at USC after his freshman year. Y'all remember how that kid right there was so good as a freshman, and then as a sophomore, and even as the freshman year continued, his offensive line was so bad that he started getting uneasy, right? Through no fault of his own, Ty Simpson carried his high school team. And I don't say that lightly. He carried them. No disrespect to anybody that played on that team, but he did, right? If y'all go back and watch the high school games, sometimes he's saying hut, and before the ball's even in his hands, he's got pass rushers bearing down on him. that can create tendencies out of necessity. He doesn't need to have those tendencies anymore, though. That's the beautiful thing. And that's why I have so much respect for Ty, because he's been like, no, I'm going to sit down and learn from these guys how to be a quarterback, how I can succeed. He's got all the tools. He's got a good arm, can make all the throws. Like, there's not a throw on the field he can't make. Chris, you said it right. I don't think he's got the cannon Milroe does, where Milroe sometimes will just do this, and that ball is 60 yards in the air, and you're like, what in the world just happened? But you don't need to have that cannon. He can make every throw required. He can throw on the run. He's much more athletic than people give him credit for. And Joshua, you're right. But I think when you look at high school, a lot of the times whenever they got in trouble is when he tried to play hero ball. And that's why I'm saying what he needs to be is a game manager or a field general. What he doesn't need to be is a gunslinger. I don't want him trying to force a play. I want him trying to allow plays to develop. And if he can do that, he is going to shock college football because he has all the tools you could want. And I just have such a tremendous amount of respect for this guy, the way he's stayed, the way he's worked. Got all the tools you could want.
I like that. So Ty, I said he needs to be a field general, not a game manager. Ty said he needs to be a field general, but not a gunslinger. Chris, you had your hands up. The people want to hear your take on what Ty needs to be and not be.
He needs to be a field general. Take charge of this team. He's in year 4. He's not a puppy. He's not a baby. He's a fourth-year quarterback. He needs to play like it. All right, what he doesn't need to be is a pocket passer. And what I mean by that is getting happy, just standing there, taking unnecessary sacks, waiting too long. Because Ty has legs, man. He can scoop. He needs to be a field general and take what the defense gives him, but also be a playmaker. Like he doesn't just need to sit there and just throw out the pocket because his skill set is too good to just simply be a pocket passer. He's not Tom Brady. He's not Ben Roethlisberger. You know what I'm saying? He has good enough wheels that he can make things happen with his legs too, with his feet. Like 3rd and 9, the defense opens up like the Red Sea. I don't want you sitting back there just patting the ball around. Use those legs and go pick up that first down. Keep the chains moving. That's what he needs to be, a field general and not a pocket passer.
We are cooking. Chris bringing the heat. Let me give it to my brother Lou because he kind of popped us off, got us going into this topic, talking about, Ty being a dual threat. So I want to get his take because Lou always brings something to switch it up here for us. Lou, what are your thoughts on what Ty needs to be and what does he not need to be?
It's not a complicated question for me. It's actually Ty doesn't need to be anything other than what Ty already is. And to me, I'm not sure if that answer's on here because all these can be effective at one point in the season. A gunslinger, yeah. A pocket passer, for sure. I think Ty needs to be all of these at all points in the season because every game is going to take something different to win a football game. And you know what? In the name of my good brother up above me, Chris James, I'm going to add a 6th one. He's got to be a facilitator.
Ooh.
He's got to be a facilitator in this offense. He's got to be able to see what the defense is giving him. And if he doesn't like it, he's got to be able to see it, check it, move it, and give him something else that's got to be effective. Too many times our offense has gotten bogged down because a quarterback has gotten funneled into one of those topics, one of those categories. He has to be everything. A successful quarterback, a winning quarterback, has many attributes. He's not just one quarterback. The problem with our quarterbacks the last few seasons is that they've tried to be one thing. Mm-hmm. You can't be one thing in today's football game. You got to be many things. You got to be multifaceted.
I like that. Off the top rope. Drop.
Can the church say amen?
Let the church say amen.
Give it to him, Lou.
Lou bringing the heat, talking about a facilitator.
I need the Reverend Dan. I need Reverend Dan.
That man preaching good. Dan, I want to get your take. What does Ty need to be or not be?
Come on, Reverend Dan.
Lou put it perfectly, man. That's what I was gonna say. But definitely, all of them at some point. Like he was saying, our last 2 quarterbacks, Miro You know, he was very one-dimensional. Bryce, you know, he stayed in the pocket a little too much. You know, so Ty Simpson needs to be nothing more than what he already is, like Lou said. Be, you know, a field general more so, you know, but, you know, gunslinger, you know, you don't want to be one-dimensional, you know. So you're going to have to win games different type of way. It's according to what the defense gives you, you know. Like Van said, you know, game managers win championships too.
Yep.
You know, you got to know you know what a game manager is. That's a guy that knows when to make the plays when that needs to be made. That's a game manager. That's not a bad thing.
Point guard.
You know, yeah, point guard. Point guard is a game manager. You know, Isaiah Thomas, John Stockton were game managers.
Mac Jones.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's nothing wrong with that, you know, but, you know, get the ball to your weapons, you know, be able to keep the defense off balance. And that comes with, you know, what we need to improve as a team is situational play calling. You know, there's a lot of opportunity in that aspect of the offense. So I think Ty, along with Grubb, he's going to be able to put him in, you know, more winning situations. And, you know, Ty needs to be no more than what he already is, like Lou said.
Can I ask y'all something? If he plays like Jake Coker played in 2015, can Alabama win the national championship?
Yes.
Hell yeah. I was just going to make that, but the height thing was a little different, so I didn't want to go there. But yes, they got the same type of attitude.
I agree.
Coker was a warrior, man.
I actually think that's
a great comp.
To me, I think he's the most underrated quarterback in the Saban era is Jake Coker.
Yeah, he was nasty.
He was by far one of the toughest.
Yeah. Another thing I want to see out the quarterback position is passion and fire. You know, you know, I want to see that. I want to see him become an emotional leader, you know, in a good way. You know what I'm saying?
To your point, Dan, what's the quarterback off the program? He was like, hey, let's put the women and kids to bed. Let's go.
That's right.
Hey, baby.
Petty, I knew you were like that.
That all bought me
like that.
Y'all all made great points. It takes all that shit, but all went like all championship, and that's what we want at Alabama, right? Titles. That's what we're here for. They all have like one thing in common. It's not the game manager, the pocket passer. It's 3 letters. You got to have that. If you got that, every championship quarterback has that. That's what Joe Burrow brought. That's what championships bring. You got to have that BDE. And if you got that, and that comes from being a field general, taking control, being the facilitator, but using your tools to, you know, but it comes from confidence. You know why those guys have BDE? Because they have confidence. When they walk on that field, they don't give a shit who's on the other sideline. If it's LSU, or if it's Auburn, or if it's some ugly ass Orange Tennessee folks, they got that big DE. I about said it.
Dropped it. You got to throw it over your shoulder, man. You got to
throw it over your shoulder.
And tell me that, guys, all you guys that played at Bama, y'all had dogs. Y'all had linebackers that were fucking animals, defensive linemen, wide receivers. But you had to have that quarterback that you knew had that BDE. They're like, that's my guy. I'm riding.
Brody Crow, freshman year, Arkansas.
There you go.
You got to have that Denny dog, Petty.
You gotta have that Denny dog. That's like the purple pill for BDE.
Yeah, what time?
You got to have a darn offensive line too. I mean, you look at Bryce. That's the only thing that stood in the way from him getting a natty. Our offensive line was like not
got
good.
Killed.
Let's just kill him.
Hey, you know what though? I still to this day blame Warford for that offensive line, man. Those boys got too heavy.
It was too
well,
big.
and then it didn't help. It was Doug Marrone in front of him too.
And
Doug Marone was the worst.
They look like they look like
pancakes.
The video games. You remember like when the video game used to be bad and they had the linemen with no sleeves, no nothing on. They were just pop bellies. And it was just bad animation. That's why
it's crazy because we had talented players, but it just didn't. It just didn't work.
They all look like Louis Lastic from Remember the Titans.
You got a lineman that's 380 pounds, 360 pounds, and you trying to block a 250-pound pass rusher, it's never going to end well.
He said Louis Lastic is hilarious. All right, guys. Anything you want to add, Ty, Chris, Petty, Dan, Lou? I mean, y'all cooked on that segment. Literally cooked, in my opinion. So, chat, let us know your thoughts. I want to hear what you guys got to say regarding Ty Simpson. And so, guys, we know Ty needs to step it up and other players, but let's talk about Alabama. Excuse me, I'm getting choked up thinking about it. Let's talk about Alabama players that must step it up this year. It's time. It's like, no, you've been here for a while. Just listen. I'm just gonna let the floor be y'all's. Which player needs to step it up? Chris James.
I think we all can agree on this one. On defensive side of the ball, doggone Latham.
Jason, ooh, that's a good one. Tell us why, Chris.
Like, if you're not gonna like be that guy, be that dog that we need, because I'm just tired of just having average D lines, man. Average, no pass rush, just there. Just it seems like
just another guy.
Yeah, you taking up a scholarship. It seems like me, Lou and I was talking about this yesterday. It's like you just a space, like taking up space, man. Average, like if you how he's been. If you look up average in the dictionary, it have a picture of the Alabama D line. That's what we've been. Average, and you can't tell me. I know they're being coached well. It's not that, man. It's just it's at some point it's the Jimmy and Joe's, man. It comes down to the Jimmy and Joe's, and it's time for the big dogs to walk, man.
Effort.
Yes, it has nothing because you can't tell me Roach doesn't spend time coaching these guys. He hasn't been a D1 coach for over a decade because he couldn't coach. Now, come on.
Well, Roach isn't his coach anymore. He moved. He's a Wolf.
Now it's Robinson, right? Is Robinson?
Yeah, now he's a Wolf. He lost like
30
pounds, and he's a Wolf.
My God. Like, if you can contain the edge at 290, what the heck then you can contain the edge at 260? I don't know, man. I'm not.
I mean, that's all effort. All it takes to set the edge is effort. That's it.
Chris, to your point, to you guys' point, and I'm gonna go to Lou after this. I just don't like guys who are just dominant enough during the week, but get the game time.
Practice player.
You're not being a dog. You know what I'm saying? Like
Tim Smith the same way.
Like let them young guys. We need dogs that's gonna out there and go hunt. So that's just my whole 2 cents on these type of players. You know, Lou, go ahead and cook, sir. Reverend Lou is your new name is tonight.
Now I got something. I'm actually gonna go away from defense just because I want to just do this right now. But give me Danny Lewis.
Whoa.
Now I'm gonna tell you something. Because I don't want to lead into our next topic, but there's some young dudes that we've recruited that are tight ends that I'm telling you are absolute monsters. They're very high energy guys. Now, Danny Lewis was in the transfer portal, so at one point he wasn't feeling this whole Alabama thing. That doesn't sit well with me. Now, I know there's a chance for him to come back, but he's a junior. And once you're a junior at Alabama, if you haven't got no burn yet.
I think the birds agree with you, Lou.
Beautiful, Ty. Beautiful.
If he ain't got no burn as a junior yet, now I'm not saying he doesn't have that possibility, but to me, just because there's some other guys that are going to say some other people I already know, give me Danny Lewis. He's got to step up because I have it on good effect that these freshmen, if they're healthy, they're going to get on that field.
Hey, it ain't just a freshman. We just got 2 transfers in at his position.
Yep.
Who was it then? Who were they?
We had
from West Virginia.
Brody Dalton and Jackson Marco.
And that came from
West Virginia. Samarco came from West Virginia. Brody Dalton came from Troy.
Yeah.
You're right. So
yeah.
Lou says Danny Lewis needs to step up. Chris says Latham needs to step up. Let's go to Ty real quick. Ty, who do you think needs to step up?
Well, I think you've all given great answers, but I'm going to give my answer based on it's a money year. And this is a player who's been really good.
Find another one.
Yeah. It might not be taking yours just yet. Might not. This player's been good. But he needs to be a bit more consistent because I've seen what he can do. Right? And that's a blessing and a curse. When you put out just how great you are, that's a blessing and a curse. Because now I'm like, okay, this is what you can do. Now let's see it. That's Tim Keenan. Because Tim Keenan has all the ability to be a first-round lock. There's not a question about it. But if we get that Tim Keenan that flashes every game, right? Like he'll have a series where he is just unstoppable. But if he can do that all season, gentlemen, this defensive line is going to be really good. And it's going to be spearheaded by a guy that's in a money year. It's put really good film out there that Pro Football Focus is thinking very highly of. So it's not like we're the only ones that see his upside. He gets that consistency. Whew, he's going to be cashing in a very large check in that NFL draft. And he has all the tools. So for me, it's Tim Keenan. And it's not so much that like, oh, well, you need to step it up or you're not going to play. He's going to play.
Money.
He's good enough. But I've seen what he can do. I know what he can do. And if he is consistently that guy, he's going to be a household name.
In the words of Step Brothers, that was about a 6. I need you to turn it up to about an 8. Patty, give us your take on Alabama players that need to step it up.
You're right, Ty. You didn't take mine, but I think they actually go in conjunction. And to be elite in this game, you got to have great offensive line play, get great defensive line play, and that's what catapults you into a championship team. And so it can't just be one guy, and that's the problem. Bama had several guys on that defensive line that were just here that needed to get here. One of them was Tim Keenan. The other one, and you got to have this. You got to have the guy that every time the quarterback goes up to the line of scrimmage says, "Where the hell is LT Overton?" LT Overton has to be able to strike fear into every damn quarterback that steps on that field, thinking this son of a bitch is going to sack me every time I get it. But that goes in line. If Tim Keenan's doing his shit, taking care of his stuff at that tackle spot or whatever, nose tackle, whatever the crazy ass names we have, Bandit, Crash Bandicoot, Wolf, Tiger. But it's both. I think you're right, Ty. I think Keenan has shown flashes, but it hadn't been the consistency. We're in contract years now, guys. And LT Overton's the same way. LT Overton's, it's all there, but it's got to finish. So those guys finish. You change the defensive line, you change your defense.
Interesting take. And last but not least, I'm interested to hear my guy, Dan James. Petty just said LT. Lou said Danny Lewis. Ty said it's a money year for Tim Keenan. And Chris said, listen, J.C. Latham's got to step up. Dan, round us out on this topic, sir.
Yes, I'm going to go with, the offensive tackle, but it's not the one that everyone think I'm going to say, with Caden Proctor. It's the one we're bringing in a new right tackle. He's played a little bit. I think he had one start last year. And, Wilkin Formby. We need you to solidify that right side of the offensive line. Because apparently, Kalen DeBoer, he wasn't stressed or we got to get tackled. So that tells me that he believes in the guys that he has on campus. So we need Wilkin Formby to solidify the right side. If Caden Proctor has another year like he had last year, we're great. We'll take that at the left tackle position. The right tackle, we struggled at a lot badly, And if we can get Wilkin Formby to solidify that side of it, I think it's great things in store for Alabama as an offensive unit. So, Wilkin Formby is my guy in short.
I think that's a great answer.
I think that's
because if he steps up to the potential he's got, again, like the defense, same story as the defensive line. You're taking your offensive line to the next level because, man, the talent on that line's there.
All right.
But if he doesn't, he got some freshman dogs. And I like
there's a freshman
Hampton
offensive
Bears.
tackle that I think's hungry as she. Look.
Just saying.
About as hungry as Chris was at Rose Towers. So, guys, I think we
Troy, Alabama with Alonzo Ephraim.
So, guys, I think that was a great topic. Chat, we want to hear your thoughts. If you got any questions, any other, get in the chat. So, guys, before we move to our next topic, if you want to get that amazing title towel, which Petty has on his chair, which Lou is holding up, the amazing crimson and white title towel, go to wetwillsports.com. Use the promo code STANDARD, STANDARD, and get you an amazing title towel at wetwillsports.com. Ty, when you're smoking that cigar, it reminds me of the Goodfellas. He's straight mob boss right now at around.
Listen, Tony Soprano's got nothing on me when it comes to cigar intake.
Oh, man.
Do y'all think it was said that he was like, or we just assume he got shot in that scene?
I guess so. I don't know. You know.
Hey! No spoilers. No
spoilers. Sorry. I'll give you 20 more years to catch that run through.
You better.
Excuse me, but guys, speaking of spoilers, guys, we got some guys that might spoil some veterans, guys that are just taking up or being average ahead of veteran older guys. And we got some summer enrollees, and we're going to name this topic New Blood on the Scene. And we got some summer enrollee dogs that are just ready, bleeding none but crimson, that are ready to light it up. Guys, I'm going to let you guys cook. I'm going to start with Lou on this, and just tell me. Go to
Dan James.
Dan. I'm gonna go Dan, then Ty, then Lou, and I'm gonna go Petty. Then I'm gonna let Chris end us on here because Chris likes to do 25 class, 26 class, 27 class. Let's go.
I heard he was introducing a kid from the class of 2032 tonight.
So Dan James, let us know which player you're most name a player you're most excited to see of the summer enrollees that have all been enrolled, I guess, the past couple of days. The floor is yours, Dan. You're on mute.
I'm muted. Without a doubt, mine would be Caleb Edwards. This is a much welcome addition. You think about what we went through with tight ends in the spring. So I'm going to say the cavalry has arrived, not just Caleb Edwards, but the tight end additions that we had. We had 3 summer enrollees at the tight end position: Brody Dalton, Jackson Marco, Caleb Edwards. Caleb Edwards 6'7", 250+ pound frame. So he's bringing a different dynamic to the tight end position. He's a receiving threat as well. He had over 800 yards as a senior. So you think about how thin, we were at tight end in the spring. We had William Sanders taking reps at tight end. We were in a bad spot. So we needed guys that could be able to block in space, help out with Max Pro, so, Marshall Pritchett going down, injuries to Danny Lewis and other guys, Josh Quavers. So getting these guys in, they're going to allow us to have a very, very helpful summer and fall as far as getting acclimated and getting help and putting bodies in the room. So I'm going to say Caleb Edwards is my guy.
Caleb Edwards. Hi. Who is your summer enrollee that you're excited about for the Alabama Crimson Tide this year?
Dan took mine. I think that's a great pick, Dan. Objectively speaking, I just think that that's a phenomenal one. I'm going to go for a guy that is just such welcome depth to this room, but it's also an incredible room, and that's Chuck McDonald, right?
Mm-hmm.
Guys, I say this so often. I say this pretty much every time we talk about the defensive back room, because I really don't think people are acknowledging what has happened in 365 days. And to me, it's unbelievable that you had Nick Saban talking about, I'm worried about Alabama's defensive back room, to Alabama having a top 10 in pass efficiency defense in the nation with a bunch of guys that hadn't played a lot of football. That's unbelievable. And now you look at the DB room. Yeah, you lose Malachi, and that sucks, man. Such a good player, such a good leader, quarterback on the defense. It's incredible that we lose Malachi. And you know who else you lose that was a damn good player? And we don't even talk about it, not out of a disrespect, but out of just an admiration for the room. Devontae Smith isn't there either. So you lose Devontae Smith, you lose Malachi Moore, and everybody on this panel is sitting here, and none of us are stressing about the DB room. Why? Because of the guys you have, and you get guys in like Dejon Lee and Chuck McDonald. And I'll tell you what, guys, I know that last season we talked about, hey, Bama needs to focus a little less on California, a little bit more on the South. I'm going to reinforce this. I don't give a damn. If you're getting Dejon Lee and Chuck McDonald, focus on Cali. I don't give a damn. Because obviously it's working.
I'm with you on that. Oh, man.
I was saying defensive linemen.
Oh no, I didn't mean you in particular. I'm meaning like you know, when I would even do shows, I'd have comments being like, we're in California too much, and I'm sitting there thinking like, hey, I feel you, but damn, our staff is knocking the evals from California out the park. Bryce, I mean, they're just killing.
Najee. I mean, yeah.
This goes on and on. Lou, the floor is yours.
Oh man, I am too gonna go with Chuck McDonald, but I'm gonna go with Chuck McDonald making a different impact. Now, everybody knows like as Ty just said, that we have a room that is stacked full of prime real estate as far as it goes when it comes to DB. But adding a guy like Chuck McDonald that can do it all, and on top of being able to do it all, he probably comes in as the most physical ready cornerback that I've seen since Crazy Tony to come in to the University of Alabama. Not to mention, he is a track guy. And everybody knows that modern day pipeline and track guys equals success, Damani Jackson. So I think that Chuck McDonald's going to make a little bit bigger splash than a whole lot of people think he is. I think he's going to push a whole lot of people that think they have positions, that think they might be playing somewhere. But Chuck McDonald's here, and I think that kid's going to make a lot of waves if he already hasn't.
Petty, I want to hear your thoughts.
New blood on the scene? Who I want to see?
Yeah.
Have we gushed? Man, I'm sorry. I did get mildly distracted on the first one, so forgive me if we've talked, but I've heard enough. I want to see Latsier Brooks. One of you guys taking him? Did Chris name him on the 23? Or he's going after me?
No, we were just talking about summer.
Chris go last.
Summer. We're just doing summer.
Because mine would have been Latsier. Y'all know I've been talking about Latsier since before he committed. That's been.
There's just not. I mean, y'all are knowing it. I mean, I don't have much. I won't add anything of fruitfulness on this.
Okay.
All right.
Let's go.
I'll be honest with you on that one.
Let's go to the legend himself, Chris James. Round us out, sir.
Get your pen and paper.
That leaves me some enrollers with London Clemens.
Yeah, it's like one.
I like that one.
Like the kid, man. He's slippery, man. He played. The thing I like about him the most is the passion he plays with. Like he gets off, man. Sometimes he lines up in the 5. Sometimes he lines up inside of the 3, and he gets after the passer, man. He's a big body that can move, and he just has an SEC type body. And I like the way when the play goes away from him, how he stays square and runs down the line instead of taking bad angles. You can tell he's coached pretty good. He's coached up pretty good. But once he gets in his weight room, he's already at 305, 310 once he gets in the strength and conditioning program, man, he's gonna be a load up front, man.
Load.
Pause.
300
And he said, "Get off." Pause.
a 310-pound defensive lineman with good technique that's coming in out of high school, man. Sky's the limit for this kid.
We need it.
We need it.
I don't know how he was a 3-star.
Me either.
Yeah, I'm not sure
That
about
don't make
that
any
either.
sense.
Made no sense.
Somebody dropped the ball on watching his tape because there ain't no
There's
way.
not a lot of eyes on Hartfield Academy in Mississippi.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
But this is what I say all the time, guys. Like, 5 stars do matter. There's a blue chip ratio for a reason, right? I know we like to give these recruiting services a hard time. They do a pretty good job when you think of how many high school kids are out there. But if your coaching staff sees a 3-star, London Simmons, Lotsier Brooks, and they get to see him and they're like, that's the guy, I want him, trust your coaching staff. They know.
Let's go. So we're excited about those guys. I'm gonna say, listen, I'm excited about 2 guys. I'm gonna pull a Chris James. I'm excited to see the Caleb Edwards, the tight end. I think he's gonna up the ante in this tight end room. And Chuck McDonald, as Lou so willfully spoke of, he's just a dog, an absolute dog. So we'll be excited. Let us know what your thoughts are in the chat, guys. So, guys, let's get to recruit updates with Dan James. Dan, it's been a lot of noise. We know we got official visits coming this Friday, a big official visit weekend. Courtney Morgan sent out a tweet naming the theme of this year's recruiting theme. Last year it was cold summer. This time it's summer rain. So I'm excited about that. Dan, you're our lead recruiting analyst. Let us know about official visits, and then let us know about some names we need to potentially keep an eye on for the Alabama Crimson Tide and this recruiting class.
Okay, well, something that developed within the last few hours, is some significant news regarding Alabama, and one of its top targets is that the fact that Sincere Johnson announced that he will be committing on June the 19th. That was first reported by Steve Wiltfong, I believe. But, and Alabama gets the visit, this upcoming weekend he's coming. So he's one that I think Alabama has to make up ground with. He has finalists of Alabama, Ohio State, and Penn State. But I think it's a 2-team battle between Ohio State and Alabama, with Alabama slightly trailing. But, getting them on campus for an official, this is going to be very significant. This weekend could go a lot of ways, and if Alabama knocks it out the park, and we can, he's still going to take the visit to Ohio State, which will be his last. But I think Alabama can really seal the deal. They're going to make a move with this guy. This is the weekend they're going to do it. So this visit is going to be very, very, very important as far as that. And some other significant news, I talked to you guys about, Jet Tamala, the new quarterback offer currently committed to Iowa State. He's visiting unofficially this weekend. So what I expect to happen, he's going to set up an official visit. He may even reopen his recruitment, which wouldn't be shocking. But I think if everything goes well this weekend, Alabama is going to be in the driver's seat, and I expect him to open up his recruitment. I don't expect immediate flip, but I expect him to open up his recruitment, set an official visit to Bama, and go from there. But other big names that I'm going to be watching this weekend is guys like Titan Davis, defensive lineman out of Missouri. Alabama, I think, is the leader, and they can really lock up this recruitment with this weekend. Another defensive line target, Nolan Wilson, Alabama, is in his top 2-3. I think Alabama can really, really solidify, their standing with him. of course, Sincere Johnson, but another one that's interesting visitor this weekend is Booby Feaster. I think this is going to go one or two ways. Alabama is going to make up ground, on the Texas A&M, the LSUs, or they're going to decide to go in a different direction. So this weekend is going to be significant in that recruitment. Malachi Lee, offensive tackle out of Honolulu, Hawaii. He's going to be on campus, 6'7", 310-pound offensive line target. He's named the top four, final four, of Alabama, Georgia, Michigan, and Texas. And I think it's going to come down to Alabama-Georgia battle. Georgia's going to really put on the pressure with him, especially after losing out on five-star Jackson Cantwell. So Alabama getting him on campus is going to be very significant. Texas, of course, was his first offer. So I think it will come down between the two SEC rivals. So that's another one we're going to be watching. And a couple of other D-line targets. You got Kevin Ford out of Duncanville, J.J. Fentz out of Indianapolis. Those are two we're going to be watching as well. But it's going to be a first of 5 big recruiting weekends as far as official visits go. So we're going to see how the summer rain actually turns out.
It's a great update, Dan.
Let's get a fire extinguisher to cool that man off because he's on fire.
He's on fire, like NBA Jam back in the day. I just want to throw out a few names. Braden Rouse, I know it's Alabama, Tennessee, Texas, Michigan. Your thoughts on him? I know he's coming in this weekend. What are your thoughts? You mentioned linebackers, Sincere Johnson. What are your thoughts on Braden Rouse?
I think Alabama's in it. They're in this, top 2 to 3. So that's a position you want to be in going into an official visit. We don't know the pecking order. I know one name that Alabama really likes at the linebacker position is Caden Hall out of Florida. So I'm pretty sure he's going to be one. And I expect Alabama to take 2 linebackers, inside linebackers, maybe 3. 3 is not out of the question. So, you count Caden Hall, then you got Sincere Johnson, you got Nick Abrams out of Owings Mill, Maryland, so you got a lot of options, and that's what you want to have. So Alabama's top targets at this position, is still on the board. So, Braden Rouse is one of them. So, you can get 1 and 2 out of those 4 targets, you're going to be sitting pretty good. Alabama will be very happy.
Okay. Real quick. Jet Washington. I know he's taking official bid. I heard Oregon's the team to beat. Your thoughts on him and Cedarian Morgan? I know he took a big visit to Colorado a couple weeks ago. Just want to get your 2 thoughts on those 2 players, just from me.
Okay, definitely. Jet Morgan. I'm sorry, Jet Washington. Yes. He's an anomaly at safety. 6'4", almost 6'5" safety. You know what I'm saying? He's going to definitely be a safety that you would love to have it play in the box some. So he's got wide range. So Alabama got the first big visit weekend, and they can really knock it out of the park with him, which I expect them to do. Oregon's going to be there to the end. I think Oregon, Alabama battle, and Alabama's going to get one of 2. I expect Alabama to get one of the 2 between him and Jarrell Edwards out of St. Francis. So we're going to see how this weekend goes, but, Alabama is definitely not going to turn down a Jet Washington or Jarrell Edwards.
Okay.
And as far as Cedarian Morgan, I think he's Alabama's to lose, to be honest. So who wouldn't enjoy a visit to Boulder, Colorado? So he's gonna like everywhere. Auburn definitely not giving up. You're gonna expect teams to come with the bag, but this is a guy that I think is Alabama's to lose. Alabama's gonna take 2 receivers, and one of them is gonna definitely be Cedarian Morgan.
Got it. Guys, Chris, Ty, Petty, Lou, y'all got any questions for our lead recruiting analyst before we shift to Q&A? All right, going once, going twice. Guys, so let's get to the chat. Chat, y'all have been amazing tonight. Interesting to see what amazing audience question and answers you guys have. So let's go real quick here, real quick. First up, we have Josh Haney saying, wasn't Formy's true position right tackle, but he played left when people were hurt, or was that someone else? Anybody want to take this, Dan, Ty, Lou, Chris,
I don't think he actually took any reps at the left tackle position. He was always right. He rotated a lot with Elijah Pritchett.
Pritchett moved over.
Yeah. Allows Alanine took some reps at left tackle.
Okay. I'll lost Alanine. Appreciate that, Mr. Haney. Next question from the chat. Haney again. I don't know if y'all touched on it, but what do y'all think about the QB we just signed? Do you think QB is leaving, or are they just getting the guy for more depth?
Oh, you're talking about the walk-on quarterback. Yeah, the preferred walk-on.
Ty, you had your hand up?
Whether he's talking about the walk-on or he's talking about Key Russ, I don't know that anybody's leaving, because if someone was going to leave, strategically speaking, you'd have done that probably in December. That way you would have had time to pick a college, go through spring, and then have a full camp in front of you, right? Get acclimated to a new offense, new teammates. So I don't know that anybody's leaving. Now, in the event you're talking about Key Russ, listen here. I got to watch him play.
You don't take him for depth purposes.
No. And and listen, I know we were talking about Ty tonight, and deservedly so. It's not going to shock me at all if a week into fall camp we hear, hey, this is a real battle between Key Russ and Ty Simpson. It wouldn't shock me for Austin Mack to get involved in this as well. But that's the beauty of this, guys. Whoever this coaching staff picks, you got to feel comfortable. One, because the coaching staff picked them, and two, because I really like this quarterback room top to bottom. I mean, this is as deep of a quarterback room as Bama has had in terms of 1, 2, 3 in a while. Austin Mack is green, but he's got high upside. Key Russ would start at a lot of places tomorrow. That's how good he is. He is fantastic. And then Ty Simpson has all the tools. It was just about learning. And if he's ready, if the coaching staff thinks he's ready, you got to be excited, because he has all the tools you could want. It was just about learning to be patient. So I don't think anybody's leaving. I think that if they were, they'd have left already. And I love the quarterback room top to bottom.
And I think if you're talking about the new kid, you gotta have scout team quarterbacks too.
Yeah, good point. So let's go next one. Kennedy. Chris, can you elaborate on the stories Alonzo is talking about?
Yes, Chris. Can you answer this question, Chris?
Listen, you gotta subscribe to our Patreon, the Final Whistle, to get that content right there.
Hey, we've made it past 10 o'clock. That's like on HBO when the booby movies can come on. So we're good to go. Like after 10 o'clock, you could get the boobs.
Get us to $100 in super chats, and we'll tell you.
We'll break you off, Kennedy. Next topic, please. Thank you for that, Kennedy. Or is that it? Oh, Handy again.
He's got some questions.
Reporting, or is he still there? I haven't heard much. Yeah, he's still at Alabama. He hasn't went in the portal. Not that I know of.
No one had after the.
Yeah, nobody's been in the portal, Haney.
One more.
Miller Young Hill or Miller Young Washington. Who you got at 3? Now this is a question right here. I'm gonna let Chris go on this one.
I think it's Miller Young. I think it's Miller Young right there together. And then it's gonna be like tiers. It's gonna be like Miller Young, Gonna get the rest with the ones, and then Washington,
Hill,
and Petty's boy from Mississippi, Deer.
AK.
I think all three of them gonna be running with the twos.
I like Deer.
I like Deer too. You better be thinking about before the season over. It might be Million Deer.
Venison is good.
Venison is delicious.
I'll see myself out.
Oh man,
Depends on the cut.
Oh, anybody want to add to this, Lou?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be give me Miller and Young, and then Hill, and I like Dre Washington to dot that I. I think he's going to absolutely murder people when he actually gets on the field. He might not get a lot of touches, but when he touches the ball, that defense is going to feel him for about 45.
Yeah.
Home run. Let's go. I think it's going to be back reminiscent. You remember when Alabama was just, I think we had Jacobs, Najee,
Damian Harris.
Harris. We were just loaded in the back.
Bo.
Yeah.
Brian Robinson.
We were just loaded. I think you're going to get back to Alabama being 5 deep in the RB room. So thanks for those questions and answers, chat. Hope y'all enjoyed the episode. Y'all were amazing. Thanks for all the fans. Kennedy, Bama Boy, Josh Haney, Chris Williams. We got some Auburn fans in the chat. Thanks for
Senator Tuberville.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in. And we know you guys are down on the plains. Y'all, it's hard to cover football down there. But glad for tuning into a real program like the Alabama Crimson Tide. Guys, how can they reach you guys? Starting with Ty Hayes, Mr. Around the Table Sports. How can they reach you real quick, Ty?
Yeah, you can find me over here. You can find me on Friday with my guys, Jonathan Lewis, Coach Sean Brinsky Sharp, as I have joined that crew as well. So every Friday you can find me on the Bama Standard over there. You can find me on my channel when I have time to stream, right? And Around the Table Sports. You can find me on Bleacher Report, and you can find me on Twitter.
Ty, I thought you said you can find me when I'm streaking. Like we're going to the court. Chris, how can they find
That's
you?
on the OnlyFans, though.
You can find me on Facebook at Chris K. James Sr. You can find me on X at Coach Chris James. You can find me on Instagram at final_whistle_Chris.
Mr. Daniel Petty.
You can find me at _Petty Daniel. It's on there on the Twitter X's. And then, man, I'm on the Bama Standard Mondays and Tuesday nights. Monday night, I'm with my man Smoke Dixon on the opening kick at 7 Central, 8 Eastern. Always upsetting somebody's feels in that show. And then I'm all over this place on Tuesday nights. I'm on the earlier show, the Bama Standard, and then I'm here with my guys, man, the Avengers, as always. Glad to be back. I've been out a couple weeks, so, man, good to be back with you fellas.
Glad to have you back, Petty. And, Petty is a double for Lane Kiffin. Joey Freshwater.
So I'm right. You never see us in the same place at the same time.
You never see him in the same place at the same time.
Never.
You see a guy at the bar, looks like Lane Kiffin.
He's the fall guy for Lane.
I can neither confirm nor deny if it's Petty or Lane Kiffin. That's all I'm saying. Dan, you're our lead recruiting analyst. How can they find you, sir?
I'm off the grid, man. You're right here. Tuesday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. You find me on X at the Final Whistle Dan. You find me on Instagram, Dan James 4.
I like that. Lou, close this out.
Be sure to hit the like and subscribe button.
Yeah, hit the like, subscribe. Lou, how can they find you? And close this out on the show tonight, sir.
Guys, man, that was some fun tonight, man. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram, Lucian Graves. You can also find me on X, Twitter, whatever Elon's got the name, at Lou241. And most importantly, and exclusively, but you might see me a little bit more on this network, on the Final Whistle, Tuesday nights, wrapping it with these Avengers, talking about the greatest football team in the greatest state, in the greatest country on the planet. And ladies and gentlemen, we at the final whistle like to close our show out with these 2 words y'all know and love.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. And we don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide.
Nothing but the Tide. Blitz, Bama Blitz.